Hey y'all, Mythic Rare here, and thank you to my A1 Day 1 subscribers. If you're new here or if you're just passing through, welcome. Uh, Feel free to get out whatever crafting project you're working on or have me in the background as I keep you company while doing chores, driving, gaming, etc. This is kind of a different whip and chat. Like, whip and chat, first of all, stands for work in progress, and chat because we're going to yat or rant about our lives. But this one is totally different because I actually went and found the tag questions that Diamonds and Washi had from this year and the year prior, Drills and Chills, and I went ahead and I answered them. And my answers are not very short and concise because for anybody who has known me in the past, I kind of had like my punk rock, gothic, alternative, like emo era. From the time that I was 14 all the way up until I was about my mid-20s. So, yeah, like these answers are gonna, and because I like lived in Arizona and I live in Oklahoma, like these answers are gonna be pretty interesting. So yeah, before we get on into it, I just wanted to say that what I'm going to be using today is a piece of printer paper so that you guys don't get the glare from the plastic cover on the diamond painting. Random Diamond Art Club tray, random Diamond Art Club tweezers, pen with a straightener. This is one of Donna Bass's pens. It's Ireland's Dream. And then this is just a random Amazon pen that I picked up. I wish I could use my Enabler's Outpost diamond painting pen, but no matter what I do, the ends seem to spin around. So I think that maybe I need to try like plumber's tape, something in there. I don't know. If I find a solution, I'll be sure to share it. But we are using Enabler's Outpost Chit in the multi-placers. And then this is Patty Wax Super Sticky in the single placers. And then the painting that we are working on is A Space for Reflection by Chuck Pinson. This section right here is the side of one of the mountains. So hopefully my tag questions will be entertaining enough so that you'll stick with me while I basically diamond paint my way through 50 different shades of gray as I'm working on the mountain. All right, so question number 1, what is your favorite fall drink? Growing up, I didn't really have a fall drink. Like, I would have hot chocolate and like apple cider, and all those things were good. Honestly, I would have to say pumpkin spice latte or coffee flavor. I know it is very basic, but it's just one of those things that is like seasonal, and once it's gone sort of thing. So I always like that. And then what's one thing that you love about fall? Well, based on the Arizona like the Phoenix, Arizona perspective, I would have to say cooler temps. Like, certainly for Oklahoma City as well. Like, just in general, cooler temps. Because growing up, like, the gothic alternative type of fashion, like, that's a lot of grays and blacks. And like, sort of, sometimes you get like pops of color depending on like your particular style, but just like generally speaking, it is a lot of darks. And black attracts heat, so yeah, definitely growing up in a desert and then being somewhere that not only number one gets the heat but also the humidity, it's like, yeah, cooler temps. um and honestly, I can't really pick like one particular thing, because cooler temps means like, yes, the fall fashion, but also now that I live in Oklahoma, the fall foliage. I know like we typically don't get like as great fall foliage as like maybe like Cincinnati, Ohio, or like Chicago, or you know, like those places in like the North Central or the Midwest. But we do get some good areas that have like really good pops of color, like over by Stanley Draper Lake, that's good, or like Lake Thunderbird. Lawton in the fall would be like super duper pretty. Or if you are like somewhere in Arizona, Grand Canyon during the fall, like that is gorgeous. And then what's one thing that I don't like about fall? Well, there's a few things. Cuz of course when I lived in Arizona, it was the whole temperature thing, because we don't cool off fast enough to where we get those nice like crisp mornings or evenings. Like, not anymore. We used to, kind of like back in the 90s, early 2000s, but I find that Arizona just like doesn't really anymore. And the whole temperature thing is kind of like, in my opinion at least, makes it like kind of sets the whole vibe. Like, once you hit a certain temperature at night, combined with the shorter days, it's like, all right, spooky season, here we come. But if the temperature doesn't drop, and then you're like seeing all this stuff, you're kind of just like, okay, like I know it's here because I can see it on the calendar, but I don't like feel in the spirit. I don't, you know, like it doesn't fully register, until like almost sometimes months later. And then for like the Oklahoma City perspective, now that I've been here a couple of years, there's two things that I like majorly hate about the fall. Fall allergies, because like everything has this one big final bloom before the frosts come and everything like goes into hibernation for the winter. And because we know like how bad my allergies are, yeah, it's like a major time of suffering actually for me. And then the other thing that can kind of make me suffer too is it is sometimes known as second season or storm season 2.0, but we typically have a repeat of the tornado season in the fall months. But it isn't as predictable as it is for the spring months. So with spring, like we typically can tend to see like trough ejections coming days in advance. We'll know days in advance. Is it going to be a severe weather day? Yada, yada, yada. And we can kind of make preparations. But in the fall, it'll be more like you have a slight risk of severe weather, and it'll be more, I don't know, like I guess it'll be spin up tornadoes. Yeah, there we go. Like you might get a derecho or like a big line of thunderstorms come through, and then they'll be rotating just enough to where you might only have maybe 20 minutes of notice in the fall months to get to shelter. Sometimes we can predict them, but I just find that the fall tornadoes tend to be a lot more scary because they're a lot more unpredictable. Number 4, are you a pumpkin spice fan? Honestly, I would have to say yes, and OMG, I just broke the tip on my pen, y'all. Ugh, yeah, like that is sharp. I do not like that. I will have to maybe have to get my other pen. Wow, okay, yeah, like 2 hours later, just kidding. Um that was kind of a while. I basically pulled out all of my um bigger diamond painting pens, and I started like sticking nibs in them and stuff, and like, oh, that one spins, that one spins, and wasn't really getting a good fit except for my 2 Amazon pens. So yeah. But anyways, we are back in business. So question number 4, are you a pumpkin spice fan? I would have to say yes, but with all good things, like, in moderation, because sometimes if I go too crazy on the pumpkin spice, I'll kind of like wear myself out of the scent, just as we're reaching like the peak of the season and Halloween and all that, and I'm just like, give me snickerdoodle, give me gingerbread, like, give me literally anything else but pumpkin. So I definitely do try to keep that one in moderation, but definitely where I live, like out on 5 acres during the fall, having some scent is better than having no scent in the house, because over in our area, like, skunks are very active during the fall months, and they're spraying like everywhere, and it can just be like downright disgusting to have to go to bed with that or to wake up to that smell like every single day. So definitely, if you're in the Arklatex region, yeah, just make sure that you have some sort of Febreze wax warmer, like something just to get rid of the smell, because it is horrible. And what's your favorite fall scented candle? That is actually kind of a hard question to ask, to be honest, because of me, like, being a gothic or alternative kid growing up, but also because my parents are like Roman Catholic. So it's kind of like your stereotypical parents too strict sort of thing. I mean, they did let me have candles, but it's like a candle here or there, but it's not, something that they were too crazy about. Once I was, of course, in the later years of high school, college, and then making my own money, they didn't have hardly a say in any of that. So definitely, like, the country apple would be good, or um like, I'm just talking aromatherapy in general. I didn't really have like a favorite fall candle scent, but yeah, definitely country apple would be good, or um like full moon incense or dragon blood incense, like those are really, really good. And then where would you buy your fall candles? That was actually Michael's, because I have well, I had, like, when I lived at my parents', there is a Michael's not even like 5 minutes up the road from where we were. So I would get like their Halloween candles, where they'd be like black candles. They wouldn't have a particular scent to them, but they would be like actual like candles. You could, light the wick and all that. But that's where I would go to like go over the top on levels of spooky in my room, and I would have like the black sheets and like all the things. Number 7, what's your go-to fall beauty product? That is very hard. That is very hard because so when I was with my parents in Phoenix, my dad used to work in the Ulta Beauty Distribution Center. And I don't know if they still like do it now, but back when he worked there, they would give their employees the scratch and dent stuff. Like they'd have to do they'd have like a bingo that they would have to do, and then if someone would get coverall, then they would get to take home a box of scratch and dent for the ladies in their family. And my dad would come home with like quite a few like good boxes. So like having been exposed to very high quality beauty products at the time when I was just getting into it and all the things, like it's very hard for me to pick just one, because for nail polish, I love the dark, like jewel tone colors that typically come out this time of year. Same thing with eyeshadow palettes. And for lips, instead of having them be like pink or nude, like you can get away with having really out there colors. Like you could have purple or black or like wine red. You know, it just really depends on your aesthetic. So like unfortunately I cannot pick like just one. I'm sure I could pick like one of every single category of makeup. Like I could probably do that, but I can't just pick one singular beauty item. Let's see. Number 8. What's your favorite fall accessory? I mean, if I really and truly had to think about it, I would say boots. Forever and always boots. Because oftentimes in Arizona and stuff too, like we'll still have monsoon season. So like combat boots, those are like leather combat boots, those are particularly helpful for when it rains, because it's either like you wear boots or you wear flip-flops. You either get your feet wet or you like absolutely 100% do not. Or you wear Crocs. Like I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that when it comes to rain, just cuz like I'm not particularly crazy of my feet getting wet unless it's a thing where you're in the bath or the shower, or you're at the nail salon and you're getting a pedicure. Like other than that, I'm just like, oh, wet feet, no, gross. Or if you're at the pool, then like that makes sense. But yeah, otherwise I'm just like, no. Like the thought of my feet getting wet just kind of grosses me out. So yeah, I would say like if it was Arizona, then combat boots, but definitely like over here in Oklahoma, like just boots in general. Cowboy boots are fantastic to break in this time of year because you won't feel like you're going to be dying of heat exhaustion when you do. And especially with like a good flannel jacket on a brisk like 60-degree, 70-degree day. Well, I know that's probably not like very brisk, but like in the mornings it can be 40s here sometimes once we get into the heart of fall. And that's to me where boots just like shine. And what is your typical fall outfit look like? Number 9. Well, when I was goth, when I was an alt chick, like fall was every day. Honestly, back then there was this, and this is kind of when the bohemian style was coming around in like the early 2000s. I had this huge like prairie skirt from Guess, and it was all black. It had like satin ribbon going through certain like layers of it. It had it was gathered. It was like a below the knee elastic waist type of, bohemian skirt. And it just went so well with all of my other like outfits from Hot Topic. Like I would pair that thing with the Trip NYC lace up or corset tops. Like I'd pair it with just like a regular ribbed tank top and some black flip-flops. And of course I'd be rocking the black nail polish too. But yeah, like I'd pair this thing with like so many different types of outfits. And of course like rocking a black or rocking that with ballet flats, like black ballet flats, and then like a black jacket on top. Yeah, it was like that was my favorite like types of outfits. Certainly like the goth meets bohemian meets like whimsy fantasy type of look. That was it right there. Like if basically you put gothic and like modern gothic and like cottagecore into a blender, and then like yeah, yep, that would be it. Right now my fall outfit is very much different because I am 10 years older now. I work from home, so I don't have very many reasons to dress up, if that, unless I'm like going out to do chores or like, you know, stuff like that. Like actually function and be a part of society. But let's see. My go-to fall outfit has usually been skinny jeans tucked into boots, and then either a hoodie or a big chunky knit sweater on top. Or if I'm wearing just like a regular t-shirt, I would pair that with a beanie and an infinity scarf, or a big hoodie. It really just depends on what I would be doing. But that, yeah, you kind of get the idea, right? And then question number 10, apple pie or pumpkin pie? Ooh. So this is one of those, I feel like it's temperature dependent kind of things, or like what part of fall are we in kind of things. Because when I think apple pie, I also think like Labor Day. We're celebrating the kids going back to school. We're celebrating the end of summer. So I'm also thinking of like watermelon and hamburgers and hot dogs and that, like, all at the same time when I think of apple pie. When I think of pumpkin pie, I'm thinking of that song from the Mamas and the Papas. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. I'm thinking like Thanksgiving, maybe we're getting close to Christmas, like let's go order a whole bunch of diamond paintings because they're gonna be on sale for Black Friday. That's basically what I think of when I think of pumpkin pie. Oh Lord, I know that is so bad, but it is so true. Oh sweet, yay, I'm done with this color. Finally. And then what's your favorite Halloween or scary movie? Ooh, there's so many. Like, there's so many. I cannot pick. Like, oh my goodness. So many. I knew I was gonna like really struggle with this one. Let me see. I guess I'll go for like entertainment, media, consumable content in general. And maybe like if I narrow it down to specific categories, that'll be like that might be good. And of course, like keep in mind that some of these answers are going to come from teenage mythic, like a teenage girl. So, take some of these with a grain of salt. Like, but yeah, I do have lots. I'll start here. One of my favorite gothic books that I had read during high school, besides what I was forced to read for my double A English class, would have been, and like some of this goes back as far as junior high as well, but Blood and Chocolate, that's actually more about vampires, and it's about a girl who at the end of her journey essentially becomes a leader for her community, but it's like the werewolf community, and at a time that was heavily dominated by vampires, Twilight. I actually kind of found it to be a breath of fresh air until the whole Team Edward versus Team Jacob thing came into the mix, and I was like, great, well, I feel like I just completely lost my identity because now everybody is into this sort of thing. And I felt some sort of way about it. But yeah, I was into the whole like vampires and werewolves before people even knew what Twilight was. I mean, back when I was like in grade school, just going into elementary school, I was watching Charmed. And that's probably one of my favorite shows from the 90s and early 2000s is Charmed. And then like one of my favorite like spooky themed series that was a cartoon was Danny Phantom, because he is a ghost who uses his ghostly powers and stuff for good. He helps like save his community multiple times. And then there is like there was quite a bit on Disney that I liked to watch too growing up. One of my favorites was the Halloween Town series. Like that was really good. Nightmare Before Christmas, of course. Um Favorite horror movies, like this is where it gets super duper tough, because for the longest time I did not go to see any movies at all, and then as soon as I started like going on dates and stuff, it seemed like basically a lot of what I was watching was horror. So like there was that, but then there is also like when it gets close to Halloween on DirecTV, a lot of the TV channels would have horror movies on there, like especially the Sci-Fi channel would. So definitely the I don't know. I'll just start naming them off. The Queen of the Damned, the Saw series, the Underworld series, Van Helsing, The Hills Have Eyes, the Resident Evil series, The Devil's Rejects, like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, the redo of The Orphan, Jason X, like, if it, Practical Magic, I mean, honestly, if it was a horror movie, I probably watched it. Or if it could have been classified as such back in the late 90s and early 2000s, I probably watched it. I even watched the remake of The Fog, and I went to go see that in theaters. It was super boring. It put me to sleep. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. Oh yeah, and then there was Taken, and then Last House on the Left. But yeah, folks, like, there was a lot. There was a lot that I watched. So, do you have a favorite fall tradition? Back when I was younger, that used to be trick-or-treating, because then, like, I could go, like, all wild and crazy. And then back before my mom even worked, like when she was staying at home to help raise me, she would get out her sewing machine, and it'd always be cheaper for her at the time to get the pattern from Joann's, and then she would make my costume. Like, she would take my measurements and make my costume. So I got a bomb Cinderella dress one year. I got Pocahontas, like, another year. I got my very first Halloween costume ever was a witch. I got Esmeralda and so many other things. And then, of course, when you're a kid, you're kind of like, well, clearly we can see that they wanted to make the outfit looked ripped, but they just, like, cut it on a pattern, you know, like how so many of them are, like, made with this cheap crushed velvet, but then they have, like, the zigzags on the end, you know. And I was just like, well, I kind of just want my outfit to have, like, the comfort of my normal clothes, but it's not my normal clothes. If you know, you know. So I would basically just dress, like, over the top gothic, but then I would make sure to accessorize. So I had this pair of, like, black angel wings, and then I would come to school with a black halo because fallen angel. So there'd be that. Other times, and, like, I actually did this once at the call center that I worked in, because they didn't care if we dressed up, just as long as it was appropriate and we used our best judgment, whatever. So one year I went in a Jack Skellington suit dress. So that was actually kind of cool. But yeah, definitely, like, growing up, dressing up and, like, trick-or-treating, that was one of my favorite things. And then occasionally we, like our school would take us to Schnapp's Farm over in the greater Phoenix area. You'll probably know what I'm talking about. For those who are in Oklahoma or elsewhere, you probably don't know. But we would go there and we would do like all of the fall tradition things. Like we'd either get to pick a humongous pumpkin or a cabbage and bring it home with us if we, paid like a few extra dollars on top of our thing. So yeah, that was like the one time where I came home with one, and then my mom was like, "Oh, okay, so I guess I'm making coleslaw." Then there was, and they would keep us like out at the farm all day, so we would go on like a hay ride, and there'd be a bonfire, and there would be like all of these, and it'd be like a state fair too, kind of sort of happening at the same time, so we'd get to go on all the rides and like do all the games for prizes, and it'd just be like so much fun. Although, of course, now that we have the back deck, like, we ripped off our old deck this year, and, in the spring, and then we, like, Alex and his dad built a brand new deck. Of course, now I cannot wait to go out there on a day off and with an adult coloring book and a cup of coffee and just sit out there and just like work outside, not get bit by bugs, and I get to like watch all the leaves and stuff like fall off the trees at the same time in the crisp fall air. Like I cannot wait for that. That'll probably be my new like fall tradition going forward. But yeah, definitely trick-or-treating and all that when I was growing up. What's your favorite fall food, number 13? That is one of those where, again, it depends on temperature and like what stage of fall are we in. Because if we're still like the sunflowers and the brown-eyed Susans are starting to bloom and stuff, we're still having 100-degree days, then honestly, I would say watermelon and apple pie, because America. If the leaves are changing a funny shade of yellow green and we have like those crisp 40-degree mornings like how I was talking about, then pumpkin spice treats of any kind. Like it could be the coffee, it could be like pumpkin bread or cookies, but just pumpkin spice treats of any kind. I mean, I'm kind of fluffy and I like food a little too much, so it's very hard for me to pick a favorite. But pumpkin spice treats of any kind, candy apples are definitely, or caramel apples, very good too. Halloween to Thanksgiving, that is actually very narrow, because by that point I am just like, I need to get my shop on. I need to start planning and stuff for Christmas. Like, oven roasted turkey and cranberry sauce, just like hand it over. Number 14, what are your plans for Halloween? Well, it's a work day, so if I have to work this year, I'll have to work. I know, not too interesting, but when I was younger, and I would go trick-or-treating and stuff with friends, but as I got older, I kind of started to dread Halloween, because my dad, he's super into football, and he does not want to get interrupted a bajillion times in order to go pass out candy. And I was just like, well, you could just turn your lights off. You could not do it, if it falls on a game day. And then he's like, but what is everybody else going to think? And blah, blah, blah. Like, somebody needs to pass out candy. And I'm just like, why does it always have to be me? Like, you can just not do anything, keep the house dark. Nobody is going to bug you. Nobody's going to ring your doorbell. Like, that's not how trick-or-treaters do. We only go to houses that are lit up and decorated with all the things. And for those that have their houses dark, we leave them alone. He could not, like, grasp the concept. So somehow he always, like, wanted me to do trick-or-treating and stuff, until I got wise to that. And then I was just like, no, either you do not give two flying flip-flops about me dressing up and then I have fun along with these kids and I'm going to answer the doorbell, or I'm just going to purposely schedule myself to work that day. Like, I'll pick up hours, I'll do a shift trade, I will do whatever I need to do to not answer the doorbell if you are going to rain on my parade and not participate in Halloween with them if you're going to have me answer the door. Yeah. But no, I'm kind of glad that my last year passing out candy, that I did actually say, all right, I'll, like, answer the door and all that, because, like, the kids had amazing Halloween costumes. Like, yes, there were some you can obviously tell they were store-bought, but then there were others that were, like, full-on legitimate cosplay. Like, there was straight up this, like, 13-year-old girl who looked like splitting image of Daenerys Targaryen. I was just like, and I couldn't even, like her wig, her makeup, everything was, like, so good, to the point where I literally expected to hear the dragons. like yes, like, her fit was so good. Number 15, do I plan on dressing up for Halloween? Nope. Because I just said I'm going to be working, so nope. I know that they have, like, this thing where we can take pictures of our desk and, like, decorate our work area, all that, to, like, as, like, a fun culture thing. But to be honest, Alex's parents are not too into that. Like, they're into all the other holidays, but they're just they're not really a fan. honestly, they kind of like flinched at the fact that I had like black nail strips in my order from Amazon, and I'm just like, no, like it's nothing like completely horrifying or like over the top dark and creepy. Like, this is just kind of a fun thing. And then I showed them, and they're just like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, I missed one right there. Then again, I shouldn't be too surprised because all the grays just tend to like blend into one another. They're so similar, you know? Okay. So, number 16. What are you thankful for this year? Well, to be honest, that everybody is alive. And yeah, just for everybody to be alive. Like, I know that sounds really, really dark, but if you think about it, it is absolutely true because of all of the allergy stuff that I've been going through like these past couple of years and the reactions. And then there was like that tornado scare that we had back in April, May of this year, where the tornado was basically only a couple miles up the road from our house. So then we had to get out and then like go where the weather wasn't gonna impact us, because we're in a double wide trailer and our property does not have a storm cellar tornado shelter on it, so we either need to drive elsewhere or we have to buddy up with one of the neighbors. And then the whole thing with Alex's mom and like her heart condition, it's just, yeah, honestly, gotta say, just thankful that everybody is still alive. Number 17, Halloween or Thanksgiving. Honestly, I can't pick in between the two because of my answer to because of like all of my previous answers so far, and you should probably see this coming because Halloween, like, if you're on the fringe of society, or you're sick and tired of the same old and you just want to be someone else, or you just for once want to feel like you're normal, like, that day is the day to do it. But you know, for all the times in life where you're going through something rough and you may not have like the best of family relationships, but you still like, or you're super busy and you just want to spend time with everybody, then yeah, Thanksgiving for sure. I guess it really just depends, like, what season are you in like life in general. Honestly, I can't pick in between the two because both holidays basically give you permission to express like all of those sentiments. Number 18, favorite Thanksgiving food. Oh, I know I said turkey with cranberry sauce earlier. Like, that would be my main entree. My main, like, my favorite appetizer would be a grazing table or a charcuterie board. And then my favorite dessert would be pumpkin pie with a generous portion of whipped cream and a cup of coffee. And I think that my light just went out. Oh, well, hopefully all y'all can see. Number 19. Have you ever participated in Friendsgiving? Actually, no, because I've always had family to spend Thanksgiving with, whether it's my family or Alex's family, but Alex's parents are going to go visit family elsewhere this year, and they're gonna get away just the two of them. So it really depends on whether I'm working this year versus off, because if I don't have to work, then I'm gonna see if maybe one of Alex's friends is going to be doing anything, or if they're going to be visiting, because some of them live out of state. But if they are going to be visiting and stuff, or if they like have that evening off, then yeah, it would be wonderful if we could all get together for Friendsgiving. I know that one of these times I will be tasked with making the turkey and like all of the traditional fixings. I am like kind of dreading for when that day is gonna come. I'm hoping that by then I'll be more financially stable and I can just like HelloFresh my whole entire Thanksgiving, so then I won't feel like as lost and stuff. But I was like never in charge of the turkey growing up, okay? Like, my mom basically handled the turkey, and then she had me go and basically be her sous chef. Like, I would go and peel all the potatoes, the carrots, like I would do all the food prep and stuff for the yams. Like, that's basically all that I was doing, as I was being her sous chef essentially. So, like, that was beneficial because I picked up on some really good knife skills and like food prep techniques that help me whenever I'm meal prepping. But yeah, I like never got to like really do all the main dishes and stuff. Like, I always had to do the sides. And then last but not least, number 20, have you already taken fall photos yet? No. So every year, once the temperature starts going down, I like to get out more and I like to walk. And right now it's just been like rainy and stuff, but I have a feeling that I'll be getting back to it soon. Because on my walks, I like to go and take pictures of the neighborhood and stuff and of our property. And we just get like that countryside, like fall foliage pictures. Those are always nice. And then sometimes we even get turkeys wander through our yard, and the turkeys are hilarious. They'll like perch on the top of Alex's truck bed, they'll perch on the top of my car and stuff. And yeah, like we'll shoo them away and whatever, but yeah, like we get these wild turkeys that seem to visit our property every year. Okay, well, that is it for my fall tag questions. Again, apologies about the mishap with the diamond painting pen. Hopefully that didn't derail us too long. And yeah, let me know if you're going to answer these fall tag questions, or comment down below with your answers to one of these. All right, well, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.